Hi and welcome to the table. I'm Mark Windle.
I'm Jonathan Hicks.
And I'm Steve Raine.
And in this episode we are taking a look at the standard Spiel de Jahres Nominees. These are the family games, the ones that you can play with anybody, generally of a decent age range, so not too hard for like a small child, and you can have fun with them, I guess. That's what they're most aimed for. So, we're going to go through all three of our games, give you a brief overview of why we like them, why we dislike them, our general thoughts, and then we are going to say which one we believe we will win and which one we like the best. So, probably in the reverse order. So, start off with, we have Magic Maze, which is a real-time game about playing or being fancy characters in a store, trying to get your weapon, probably steal it because you're out of money by the sounds of it.
It's like a shopping mall,
yeah,
isn't
so
it?
actual
With
shopping
escalators and things.
Yeah, fantasy with working electric escalators and all that sort of thing. So yeah, I'm not convinced of that. The great thing about this is that you're all essentially given a move or moves, depending on the number of players, that you can take with any of the pieces on the board. So, for instance, Jonathan can only move people west. So we're all, and so Steve can do east. I might be able to only move people at the escalators. So you're a lot of the time you're moving stuff around all at the same time because there is a timer going on. And if the time runs out, you end essentially. I don't guess you die, but you get caught by the security, I guess. And so a lot of it's spent of going. You're going to put something in position, and then you're going to look at somebody, and they're going to go, "What do you want me to do?" And then you're going to pick this big red thing and just tap it in front of them repeatedly because it is you're not allowed to talk. There is no talk in this game whatsoever, and that's the bit that's important, and that's what makes it fun, because it becomes quite stressful when you think, I'm meant to be doing something, everybody's waiting for me to do something, I don't know what I'm meant to be doing. But yeah, it's really easy to play. I know that the further you get into it, the more options and extras become available, but certainly, like literally at the base level, you can play with any kid. Just you can point, it's got an arrow on the cards, you can move stuff that way. Nice and simple, works really well, I've had loads of fun with it.
It's great, I think. And it's, I said this when we did the review, but it's surprising how difficult it is. You've got these four different coloured meeples, essentially, that you're trying to move to these four different coloured spaces, but you kind of get fixated on one or two of them, and the yellow one, let's say, might need to move in the direction that you've got.
And you're the only one who can do it.
That's right. So everyone's kind of like, someone grabs the red thing and starts tapping it in front of you like, what? And you look at the red one and the green one, and you can't see it because, I don't know, you kind of get tunnel vision. But it's just great. Eventually you realise, obviously, you start moving it around. But that just seems to happen to everyone. So the red thing gets tapped on everybody, all over. People get grabbing and tapping and tapping.
It's the best bit of the game.
It is great. Really good.
And you've got this timer, so you've got this 3-minute timer. If the 3-minute timer ever gets to the bottom, you lose. And you think 3 minutes, there's no way you can get out in 3 minutes, but these little time spots. You go to the time spot and you basically just get to flip the timer. So you can't go too early, otherwise you flip the timer and you've got even less time than you had before you flipped it. Yeah. But when you get to that spot, you flip the timer and you can talk.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Oh, phew. Oh, where we're going. And then that's the point where you kind of all regroup and you all decide where, oh, right, we need to get this guy there. But as soon as anyone moves it, you can't talk again. And the worst bit is that after you flip the timer, all your powers rotate around the table.
Yeah.
So I've just been used to moving people north. Brilliant. I've got a really easy one. Now I'm moving people left and I've got the escalator power. What? And so I'm thinking about moving all these people north. And now I have to look at my power and I have to think about moving them different directions.
There are various ways of increasing the difficulty as well, which works really well, because to start with, you do need to play on that easiest level of difficulty. But once you master that one, you want an extra challenge, and it really provides it. It's great.
It's definitely challenging.
Just so you found that so you'll end up watching the timer, and nobody else is, and you just put something like, put it there, I want you to move the timer. You can't tell them to move the timer.
Yeah.
You're just staring intently at the timer going, quickly, and then somebody else goes, I'll move it that way. You're like, inside a little bit of you dies.
Yeah, it's good.
All right, Race to El Dorado, I think is the official full title of this, but we just call it El Dorado, is a Raine Knizia game. Raine Knizia has been around a long time and designed a lot of really good games. And this very much fits with the kind of games that he designs. It's simple, but ingenious in many ways. Essentially, it's a little deck builder. It's a very simple deck builder, but you're racing across a board. So there's different kinds of terrain. You've got jungle spots and water and villages you have to work your way through. And in terms of drawing cards on your turn, you play a jungle card and you can move a space through the jungle. Then you play a water card and you can move a space over the water. And you can upgrade your cards as you go through, so you can get like 2 jungle cards, which let you move, when you play the card, you can move through 2 jungle spaces, etc. There are quite a lot of different terrain features as well. You can pick up tiles when you go to the cave area. Some of the spots require high level cards to get through, so you might have 1 water space, but you need at least a 3 water card to get through it, for example. The map is modular, so you can vary the kind of route that you're playing with each time, so there's lots of variability in this one. But essentially you're trying to race from one end of the map as you lay out to get to El Dorado at the other end of the map. So part of it is how well you deck build, getting the good cards, there's a market you buy from, but then part of it is just ploughing through, trying to pick the best route through. Because of the variability with the tiles, it might be that one route has a lot of jungle, and that's going to suit someone who's got a lot of jungle cards in the deck, but another has a lot of water, and so it suits the person with the water. So you're not always going to take the same route through. There's lots of nice things to like about this, and I'll be a big fan of it.
Yeah, it's very simple, very elegant deck build. It plays very quickly for people who've deck built before, but it will be a great introduction to anyone who hasn't. Any younger family members or something you want to introduce to deck building, it's great. I think you can also block people in, so even if you can kind of push to get to the chokehold point first, you can relax a bit, and then you can start to buy some more cards. Yeah, it's nice. I think it's good.
Yeah, I like the variation cards. It makes sense, which is good. Which will help for younger children playing. They kind of know what they're trying to do. And I think if you think like with Dominion, you're essentially just trying to get points or whatever, and that concept could be like more different for, like, say, a 6-year-old kid. They might go, I don't really understand why I'm doing this, so I'll just kind of, well, with that, they know I'm trying to make myself be able to move quicker to get to an end point. And I guess that focus of the goal makes it easier. I think it is essentially for people where Dominion would be a little bit too tricky. That just makes more sense. I think we said in the previous review of it, I quite like the bit where I was at one point able to, I was putting down cards, because essentially they drop down from a pool to become available for everybody to buy, and I was able to put ones there that was no use to anybody else. Which actually made it a little bit gamery. It's like, this does not help you guys, so I'm going to put that there because I've gone with something else.
We played that rule wrong.
We did play a rule wrong, but you could still potentially do that by buying cards that's helpful for your deck and not for other
When
people's.
there's a gap, you can buy any card, and whichever card you buy drops down.
Okay.
Yeah, which changes things a bit, but not a lot. I think the person with the best deck won't necessarily win, because if you try and maximise your deck, everyone else starts moving, and you're left behind, and you can find yourself blocked in or whatever. So even though you can move quicker at the end of it, you might just be too late to do anything.
The timing aspect works really well, I think.
Yeah, it's good. So the third game in this collection is King Domino. It's by Bruno Cathala, who designed a lot of games, and someone I don't know, Cyril Bouquet. And King Domino is very simple. You've got a castle tile in the middle, and your aim is to make a 5x5 kingdom using dominoes, hence the name. What you do on your turn, basically, let's say there's 4 players, what will happen is there will be 4 tiles with your pieces on, and you reveal 4 more tiles. And you put them in number order, so you might get the 2, the 10, the 18 and the 42. And you flip them in that order, and the person who's got the weakest tile currently might be blue, and blue gets to pick any of the next 4 tiles to land on, and then the tile he was on, he adds to his kingdom. And you've got to put, so basically the tiles have 2 halves, I mean, you've got maybe wheat and forest, and you've got to put them on your board next to at least 1 wheat or 1 forest tile you've already got, or your central castle. Your central castle can always be used as like a wild, and you've got to put them legally facing. That seems very simple. However, at the end of the game, you're going to score points for big sections that have crowns in it. So the tiles, as you're getting them, the tile, the largest tile, maybe the 42 in this case, might have a square with 2 crowns on it. Crowns are going to get you points. If you have no crowns, you're going to score absolutely nothing. So you might want that tile, but if you get that one, it means you've got the last pick in the next round, and effectively you cycle through those 4 tiles each time, 4 tiles each time, and whoever's got the worst tile the round before gets first pick of the next one. That's a really nice mechanism. Plays very quickly, but basically your score at the end is you look at your big sections and you multiply the number of squares in that section by the number of crowns in that section. So if I have a forest section with 6 squares in it and 2 crowns, I'm going to get 6 squares times 2 crowns, I'm going to get 12 points. Okay, you can play with variants as well, so that if you make your 5x5 grid or you'll finish with your palace in the middle, you get extra points that way, just again, you give you that restriction. But otherwise, it's a very, very simple game, very easy for anyone to play.
Yeah, it's definitely, of the 3, it's definitely the simplest.
Yep.
I mean, this one almost feels a lot more simple. Than I think that this one seems aimed almost at children to me. And maybe it's just me, but I feel that.
Partly it's the artwork,
Yeah.
I think, and the graphic design.
But I mean, I think I've only played it once, but I had fun. It was very fun. It did exactly what we're doing. You're optimising. If I take the one I want, I'm possibly not going to get the option to pick first next time. And so you kind of the balance between, do I go for great now and poorer later, or
You
not?
you could go for a good tile, an okay tile, but if you go for the okay tile, you get an earlier pick next time, but you don't know what's coming out next time, so you are taking that gamble.
I think it adds the depth, the extra dimension. I think it needs. Otherwise, I think it'd be a little bit too dull. But it's fun.
There is certainly some luck in it in terms of the order that the tiles happen to come out with, but I think it feels lighter than it really is. If you go last, you kind of get no choice at all. Like, there's only 4 tiles to picking from in a 4-player game. So if you are last, then you just have to take whatever comes up last. So it is quite a risk going for what might be a good tile, but just means you're forced to take a certain tile next time. It can be very hard, I find, to fill your grid and get the bonus points for that one. But I think, in terms of whether or not it's a family game, I think a good player will beat a bad player fairly easily. There's not enough luck to mitigate it in that point of view. But it certainly feels like it's aimed at families, and I can see totally why they've picked it for the Spiel des Jahres. I think it's a good choice from that point of view.
Okay. So, shall we go through our our favours each first? So, my one's easy. I'm definitely a Magic Maze because of the 3. I'd like to play this right now. that's a simple answer.
I would also pick Magic Maze as my favourite. Superb.
We played it last night. It's Magic Maze for me too. We played up to level 6, and there's 17 different difficulty levels, and we were struggling on 6. So,
At the end, I just wanted to play it again.
Yeah.
I was like, no, let's play it again.
It has that replay straight away again factor, which I don't think either of these do. I mean, the setup with that one will make it harder. I'm not sure whether there's enough to make me wish to play that straight again. Well, this is just, it's fun. It makes you laugh, and that's a good thing.
Yeah, it's great.
So, what do we think is going to win, though? And that's a different matter entirely. I think it's probably going to be that. I think it'll be King Domino. I just got a feeling they're like that.
I think it's going to be El Dorado.
I think it's going to be King Domino.
Oh, we've got a split.
It feels, though, with the Spiel des Jahres, it feels very random in terms of which one happens to be win. I find it very hard predicting the Spiel des Jahres. They seem to have made some very odd choices over the years.
I think the simplicity is going to make this win.
But this feels simple enough. It feels like it hits the weight right. I know that is a bit simpler, but I also feel like Raine, the name on the box, is going to help a little bit.
Strangely with this, I feel that on the more difficult levels, this could have easily, a few years ago, been in the Spiel.
Yes.
While those 2 I don't. But maybe that's just me.
I think this is a game that it'll just get too hard for families to play.
And if you try the harder difficulty level, certainly. On the easiest difficulty level, I think it would be fine. But you couldn't get much beyond that. It certainly gets very difficult.
So I think this is more. I think it's too complex. This is a game that I love to play, but I mean, we played it 3 times and lost twice.
Yeah.
So
yeah. Well, that was our look at the Spiel des Jahres nominees.
We'll see.
Yes, I guess it's going to be an interesting when they come out. So yeah, this has been the table at the Dice Cup Nottingham. I've been Mark Windle.
I'm Jonathan Hicks.
And I'm Steve Raine.
Thank you very much for watching. If you've got anything comment-wise, put it below, and we shall see you again soon. Goodbye all.
Bye.